but we are going to get started. So first off, welcome to third grade. In my 17 years of doing this, never done it like this before, but there's a first for everything. So I'm super excited. If you could also just do me a favor, and if you're off, if your microphone is on, if you could go ahead and mute yourself, and there'll be time for questions after. So for those of you that I've never met before, my name is Mrs. Riehl, and I have been, this will be my 9th year teaching third grade. It is by far my favorite grade. Like I said, I've been in education for 17 years. I have been a 5th grade teacher, a 4th grade teacher, a 6th grade teacher, an assistant principal. I was a coach for a while. I trained other teachers, and then when NP3 opened, I had 2 kids of my own. Something really cool that maybe you don't know about me is that I also have a 3rd grader. He's an incoming 3rd grader, and so he's not at NP3, but I am living your same life, so just know that. I have a husband of 10 years, and I have a daughter, Claire, and so, you know, we are in this together. This is our team for the year, so I'm just really excited to be here, and I'm going to share my screen with you. I have a little presentation. What I would ask is that if you have questions, if you could go ahead and just type them in the chat, and then I promise to answer all of the questions as we go through it. And no question is too silly to ask. So this is really just new for all of us. Again, I've never launched a school year online, but I'm sure going to find out what it's like. And I think we're kind of part of history, which is really cool. So I sent you the presentation earlier, but if you would like to watch along with me. So we are coming back to school here. And let's see, there we go. I'm Mrs. Riehl, as I shared before. I gave you a little bit about me. And, you know, just so you know, I'm a teacher, but I'm also a parent. So I want you to be aware of that there is, you know, we're in this together, right? Some days we're just surviving, and other days, you know, we're crushing it. So just know that I'm a parent as well, and I feel your quarantine pain. All right, so we're going to continue. Can everyone see the screen okay? So I have you guys broadcast in my classroom, so if I'm looking up, it's because you all are on my, my whiteboard, and I'm looking at my screen. So just so you know. We do have a distance learning handbook, so I just want you to be aware of that. It will be on the website, and it's not terribly different from last year, but one of the most important things to know this year is that unlike last year's optional, I guess option or optional choice, we do need to participate fully today and this year. So because we really are launching a full school year, so I want you to be aware of that. Our weekly schedule, what you can see is, I'm going to share with you a sample schedule, but all of this will be found on the Google Classroom, and we're going to get to that in a second. The school day will be shorter than it is currently. We will be done around 1 every day, and so I just want you to be aware of that. I'm going to pull up this sample schedule right now. You will have access to all of this in our Google Classroom, and really our Google Classroom is going to be kind of the home where all of this will live. So this is a sample schedule. With the exception of this week where we're doing get to know you activities, this is going to be what we will be working on. So in the morning, when you launch your day, there are going to be a few options to work on. Students are going to complete their Zern if they haven't done it, and then they're going to get the green light on reflex. All of that's going to happen in the mornings. There's also going to be a morning warm-up, which I'll share with you in a bit. All of the live times are going to be in green. So anytime your child is live through distance learning, it's going to be green. So Miss G and my class will do morning meeting together at the same time. We will then move on, and there will be sort of an ELA break where they're working on watching a video and they're completing a packet. And then we're going on to live instruction for ELA, which will happen from 10 to 10:30. We're going to start with whole group, but typically it will be more of like a small group where we're working on a comprehension skill at your child's level. There's some snack and movement break time in there. And then at 10:45, we'll roll into math. They'll watch an application problem and use a whiteboard. And then live math instruction will be from 11:10 to 12 o'clock. Again, if you have questions about this, you can go ahead and just type them in the chat, and I promise to answer anything to the best of my ability. If you're just joining us, welcome. This will also be available to watch after as well. So we'll be doing live math instruction from 11:10 to 12. And then 2 days a week, we'll roll into writing instruction. There will be a quick break, and then we'll do a closing meeting. So everyone's day is done at 1 o'clock, and then the remainder of the time will be to work on anything that your child missed, to catch up on things, to get those wiggles out. And then on Friday, we'll talk more about it. Mr. Jones is here. We'll talk more about that. He's going to be doing some Fitness Fridays. So Google Calendar. So one of the most important ways for your kiddo to keep track of their schedule is going to be on Google Calendar. I have sent all of them, and one of the differences that I don't know if you're aware of with Google Calendar is that this year we are going to be sharing these invites with the kids. Last year, again, I was a parent as well, and I got the emails, right? Okay, log your kid on to this time. We really want them to take ownership of that. So in their Google Classroom through Gmail, they can click on that calendar, and if they accept the invitation that I've sent, all they have to do is click on that link and they'll get onto Zoom. Okay, so really we want them to be, we're entering 3rd grade, and there's a big shift in terms of independence in 3rd grade, and so we really just want them to be owning this. We want them to be feeling good. We want them to be logging on, because I know y'all have work to do at home, and our goal is to really just make them as self-sufficient as possible. And so just, I do want to just kind of show you a second. I'm going to stop the share really quickly. I want to show you what a Google Calendar looks like. And I'm just going to show you a kid's calendar, for example. Or actually, let me show you on my end, just so you can kind of see what it should look like. So I'm going to pull this up. And when you look at that, when you look at the calendar, you're going to see this icon that has the 31. You're going to click on it. And then next week, what your child should see is this. So if your child accepts, every time he or she needs to be live, it will be right here. And all they do is click on it and then click the Zoom link. For ELA, all they do is click on it. Oops. Click on it, click the link. Live math instruction, click on it, click the link. So this is where you don't even have to worry about saying, what's the link, what's the password? Just clicking on that will really get you to where you need to be. So Google Calendar, and again, I'm happy to answer questions about that at the end. All right. We are going to move on to logging on to Google Classroom. So let's talk about Google Classroom. Google Classroom, and you guys all get A+, because even though we don't give A+ anymore, we give 4s. You get a 4. You're performing beyond where you need to be. Everyone was able to join Google Classroom, which is fantastic. This is going to be our place where everything exists. So all of our assignments, everything that your child needs, students, everything that you need is going to be in Google Classroom. This right here, this green and yellow is the icon. That is going to be represented on the website, which I'll show you in just a second. There are about 1 million ways to get there, but I'm just going to share this with you really quickly. So this is our Google Classroom. We have been busy building this for the last 3, 4, 5 weeks. One of the things that you'll see at NP3 this year is that the Bitmoji Classroom is huge. And so we all have Bitmoji Classrooms. Here's a sample of just kind of a way that you can get it. You can get it a bunch of different ways. Here's our Bitmoji Classroom. If you click on this PDF link, this is our home away from home, right? And so these are all working links. So if you click on distance learning, it's going to bring you to our classroom. If you click on weekly schedule, it's going to bring you to our weekly schedule. If you click on Zern, guess where it's going to bring you? Zern. And so this is really just sort of a one-stop shop if you need that. This will be found in the Google Classroom. Okay, and the really cool thing, I have gotten most of you on Epic. There's a digital library. So when you click on that digital library, it's going to bring you to a page right here with all these books. And this is the reason for joining Epic. You have access to all of these books that your child can read online. Okay, it's because of COVID, we know that physical books are not as accessible. And so this is an online library that your child can have. And then also, similarly, something really cool, we have created shelves for our math modules. So if you click on this, if you need a multiplication chart, all you do is click on that, and this redirects you to a multiplication chart. So we have linked all of these different things for you, and these are just, these are considered resources, okay? So that's our Bitmoji Classroom. That will also be available on the website, which I'll show you in just a second. But I want to take you to Classwork. Classwork is going to be where all of the assignments live this year. And we have stacked this Classwork with everything that you need. So if you can't use Google Calendar, or if you forget to use Google Calendar, all of our Zoom links are here. You can just click on them. Oops, sorry about that. We have so much stuff for you. We also have, let me make sure we get back here. We also have the weeks at a glance. So we are doing things a little bit differently. We have built schedules for your child. And so if I open this up, we click on this right here, what you will see is exactly what your child is going to do this year. This week. And so what you can see, we have created our schedule for tomorrow. So you can see that they're going to do get to know you bingo. They're going to be writing in their composition notebooks. They're going to be doing expectations. They're going to work on their All About Me book. We're going to do read alouds. This is a list of activities that your child will be working on throughout the day. And then, in the coming weeks, you can also look at that. Also, I know that this is a lot. It's also a lot to explain. So if you're like, this is too much, just know that I'm with you, and we're really trying to simplify it, which I'm going to show you in just a second. So we also have some helpful resources here. We know that distance learning is not for everyone, and we're going to work with our families to make sure that everything is okay. If for some reason your child is having a really hard time on Zoom, there is a refocus form that they can do just like in class. And I just want to reiterate to the students that a refocus form is not a punishment, but it's really just a chance for you to step away. We'd really like them to be present on Zoom with their cameras on, focused, ready to go. We understand that Zoom is not the best format, and so we'll have those individual conversations if it's really not working for someone, but we want them to be present as much as possible. There's also helpful videos and things like that, like how to submit an exit ticket and how to share. And then I want you to take a look at the topics, which are now the days. This looks like a lot of stuff to do. But the reason why we have created all of these turn-in tabs is because we really want to scaffold it for your child so that they get in the habit of when they do something, they check it off. I had a really great conversation with Amy, who said, my student feels successful when he realizes that he's done something, right? And he's gotten through his list. And so this is going to look very scaffolded, like by the time. Is it a big deal that you do your first morning meeting on Zoom? There's nothing to turn in, but when a kid checks that box and they're like, boom, got it done, just like those of you who love your to-do lists, we want them to feel successful. So we're going to really heavily scaffold this the first couple of weeks so that they know 9 o'clock, first morning meeting on Zoom. Click on it, I did it, great, turned in. There's nothing physical for them to turn in this case, but they're still checking it off to say, look at what I did with my day. It's just a way for them to feel successful. Same thing, why are we here? They're gonna write a couple of notes down, but once we do that as a class, they are going to say, yep, I did it, and they're gonna turn it in. We really want them to get into the habit of turning things in, right? Even if there's no physical thing to turn in, we want them to get into the habit of checking it off. Because then if you're working and your child is alone working on distance learning, if you have a 5-minute break, you can log into this Google Classroom if you're their guardian or even on their classroom, and you can say, oh, it looks like you missed Zoom expectations in Zoom level 8. Let's go back to that, right? This is what my child's teacher did last year, and I thought it was so brilliant, and it really helped me manage in between teaching and helping my child. It really, it helped me know what he had done and what he had to do. So just something to keep in mind. So they'll all be organized like that for the first few weeks. We'll gradually take away the scaffolds. It won't have a time on it, but the assignments will be there. We have just basically put everything that we're doing on our schedule so that your student gets into the habit of saying, I did it. Cool. Synonyms, cool. I did it. Comprehension, did it. Okay. I'm not going to spend too much time. So that's Google Classroom. I'm not going to spend too much time talking about the packets. But I do want to share with you that you received folders. You have a purple folder, an orange folder, and a green folder. I want to be very clear that this is work for the next 6 weeks. So if you are looking at that work and you are going, how is my child ever going to get this done? This is work for the next 6 weeks. So just be aware of it. All of the homework will be in the homework folder. The math, the ZERN, will be found in this green folder, and the ELA will be found in the orange folder. And we'll give very clear directions about what that looks like. But I just want you to be aware, Ms. G and I worked really hard throughout the summer to make sure that you are prepped, so you don't have to really come back to school for work until September. So just be aware of that. And we have everything with you, and we'll talk more about that. I'm going to go back to our presentation. We're going to move quickly. I want to make sure that we have time for sure that we have time for questions. So we talked a little bit about Zoom expectations. We're going to do these with the students, but we want to make sure that kids are on time. They have a place without distractions, and they have their materials ready. This is a great opportunity for them to say, okay, I need my homework, so let's pull out my homework. Oh, it's my ELA morning warm-up time, so I need my morning warm-ups. Oh, I'm doing comprehension today, so I'm going to pull out my interactive notebook. We want them to have their materials ready, and we'll share that with them as we go on. We'd like, for all intents and purposes, for them to have their cameras on and be focused, for them, to be, we did have some kids who were like snuggled into bed last year, and this does count. This is mandatory, and so we just want to make sure that they're focused. We'll go over all this with them as well, that they're that they're using Zoom protocols, that they're using thumbs up, they're raising their hands, right? They're being respectful. They're not yelling things into the computer, and that they're focused, because this is their education. And I firmly believe that children will rise to the level of expectation that you set for them. And so I have really high expectations. So I want to make sure that they are taken care of. All right. The grading policy. So this year we are going to be doing a proficient or not proficient. If your child is meeting the standard, they will be at proficient. If they're still working on it, it'll be not proficient. And as a reminder, they have until the end of the year to meet that level 3 or 4 in mastery. So it'll just be a proficient or not proficient. So if they're proficient, that means they've already met the standard. If they're not proficient, that means they're working to it. If they're not proficient, it does not mean that they're failing. It does not mean that they're not doing anything. But that's sort of just for this first quarter till we see where things go. We're going to do it that way. Homework. So really what they'll turn in is their exit tickets, which will be attached, and their homework packet. So the homework packet is here. There are 5 things that we'd like them to turn in through this packet. And those of you that know me, I have I think 8 returning families. The most important thing that we really want them to be doing is practicing that reading, right? So fluency, fluency, fluency. They're doing it 1 time a day, 4 times a week. And then each day there will be a page to complete, and it'll all be turned in on Friday. Okay, and there are directions on how to do that through Google Forms, and we'll continue to explain that as we go. Attendance, we need your students here. Obviously, you know, we want them to show up. We want to know that they're doing the work. We are understanding that, you know, not all students do well on Zoom, but we want them to at least be at morning meeting to show that they can. We want them to try and attend those live instruction minutes because that's all we have with them. And I feel like my strength as a teacher comes from giving kids feedback. And so if I don't see them, it's hard for me to teach them and for them to get what they need. So just do that, and we'll talk more about the sickness in just a bit. For our curriculum, we use Wonders Math, Eureka Math for their math, Discovery Education, Social Studies Alive, and then obviously Leader in Me, focusing on the 7 habits, and we'll focus on Discipline Without Stress, those 4 levels of behavior, so anarchy, bossing and bothering, cooperation, and democracy. In language arts, it consists of reading, writing, speaking, listening, and language. The big shift this year that you need to know as a parent is that they are not learning to read anymore. And some of them will be learning to read, but the big focus is on making sure that they're learning through their reading. So while we'll continue to support those students who are maybe still working on that reading, the big focus is going to be reading and then referring back to the text to prove what you read. And then for writing, they are going to be writing informative and explanatory texts. They're going to be writing opinion pieces and then writing narratives as well. And our first writing assignment will be a personal narrative. For math, the big things are multiplication and division, develop an understanding of fractions, understanding arrays and area, and then describing 2-dimensional shapes. We also talk about data and perimeter as well. And then science and social studies, we focus a lot on ecosystems, on heredity, on biological evolution, earth systems, engineering and design. And then social studies is really kind of about local, right? So understanding the physical geography of California, learning about Native American tribes who are in our area, and then gaining an understanding of our community. The moment you've all been waiting for, Mr. Jones is going to lead us in physical education. He's here. There is going to be a PE lesson every Friday. Each lesson will have a specific grade level, skill, activity, game. It doesn't require any extra equipment, and Mr. Jones can offer you some support there. I'm going to play a little video of our guy, Mr. Jones. I just want to make sure that our sound is on. All right. Let's try this.
Welcome everyone to the 2021 Back to School Night. My name is Mr. Jones. I teach the physical education here for NP3 Elementary. I teach the kindergarten through 5th grade. This year we're going to have Fitness Fridays to address the challenges of distance learning. Fitness Fridays will be every Friday. It'll be through your classroom teacher. If you're kindergarten, 1st grade, 2nd grade, it'll be about 30 minutes. If you are 3rd, 4th, or 5th, about 45 minutes of activities, games, exercises will be provided. In addition, there will be extra links and activities and games that your child can participate in, which we highly recommend and encourage. courage. If you have any questions, please contact me at gjones@thomasunified.org. Thank you. Have a great night. Excited to see everyone this year. And I know that together we can address eating better, positive thinking, feeling good, and regular exercise. Thank you.
Mr. Jones is the best, isn't he? I don't know if he's still on this call. Awesome job, Mr. Jones. Can we give him a round of applause? Good job, Mr. Jones. Mr. Jones, anything you want to say before we continue? No, you're good? Okay. And just understanding before I take questions, the instructional shifts with Common Core. So really in 3rd grade, kids are accessing complex texts. They're reading, writing, and speaking, grounded in evidence. So they're really going back and referring to that text, and they're building knowledge through content-rich nonfiction, a lot more nonfiction. And then math, the focus is fewer topics, but linking topics across grades, and then really making sure there's conceptual understanding with multiplication, division, fractions, and area. We talked a little bit about our behavior, expectations, school supplies. Hopefully you all had that list of what we needed. This is a teacher wish list, but mostly for when we come back. Clorox wipes. I don't know if anyone has a supply, but those are my jam. So if you do, if you want your kid to get a 4, Clorox wipes are my thing. I'm just kidding. But so these are just some things for the classroom if and when we return. So a couple more things, and then I'm going to read those questions from the chat as I sort of do the best that I can. I understand. I know that 2 of our families have 4th graders, so if you need to go, you can always email me individually. If you haven't filled out the Meet Mrs. Riehl packet contact information, please do so. It's the yellow and purple. I sent it to you again today. It just helps me understand your child. Again, I feel like my strength comes from building relationships with kids on the playground, in the classroom, and it's really hard for me to know what your kid likes if I don't have that interaction with them. So please fill that out. Help me so that I can help them. We have to get creative. I'm into sending videos. I'm into surprise drop-offs. I'm thinking about maybe doing a donut drop-off on Fridays. Mr. Jones, it'll balance out the exercise, right? Sharpen our saw, right? Keep that balance. And so just know that. My email address and cell phone number are right there, so you can do that. I do tend to email and text, and I try to be really good. We're on Facebook, our Facebook page. We have a class page that I sent out, so I can get you that information. And then Remind. So Remind is one of the apps that I use. If you haven't done it, if you have your phone with you right now, I would love for you to do this. So it's one of the ways that I sort of send like quick text blasts. So if you text the number 81010 and put at 886 CDC in the message, you'll get all of the announcements, photos, reminders from me. Now, there won't be a ton of photos because we're not in person, but if we do ever come back in person, it's a really great thing. I like to send pictures. You know, I feel like I learn from my kids' teachers as well, and they always send pictures of like what the kids are doing, and I love that so much because it shows that they're engaged and they're learning. And so if we ever go back, that's my goal. These are some helpful websites that just kind of link to our curriculum, but those are also linked on the Bitmoji Classroom. And I am going to stop this share, read your questions as quickly as I can, and answer them. Okay. You tried using the Remind. Yes. So some of the services are challenging. So with Remind, there was something with Verizon last year. I thought that it had been resolved, so try it. If it doesn't, that's okay. I also have, you can also just text me. That's my personal number. I'm not a bot. I will respond. I'll try not to respond super late, but absolutely just text my phone. I like to pride myself on communication. So when should we fit in lunch? That's a great question. I need to build in lunch for myself too, Melinda. I think honestly, like real talk, whenever your kid's hungry, You know, you have that opportunity to do that. So we have from 10:45 to 11:05 while they're watching the application problem. You can do it. You can do like snacks during the day and then do lunch at the end of the day at 1 o'clock. You can do it earlier. You know, we tried to do what we could to, you know, fit all of our schedule in so that we were only taking up a short amount of your time. And so you have that whole afternoon. But really, when your kid's hungry, like, you know, I don't mind if they're eating, you know, as long as they're paying attention. That's how I've eaten my lunch the last, I don't know, 5 months. So, you know, and if you need to take a break, take a break. Like, this is not, you know, unfortunately, we're living in a pandemic. So, you know, I mean, this is new. This is new for all of us. Your kid should absolutely not be starving. You know, I mean, if you want to withhold lunch from them before they do all their work, that's a you problem, okay? So no, I'm totally kidding. But you know, just when they're hungry, right? Feed them, or do a snack, right? Maybe they get a snack right before math, and then they have a little bit more right before our closing meeting, and then they eat the rest of it at 1 o'clock. It's honestly up to you. I trust you as parents. The schedule starts tomorrow, Avika, so 9 a.m. Everything's on the Google Classroom. What are the requirements for attendance if our student cannot log on to live learning for any reason? That is a good question. Let us know. The beauty of Google Classroom is that we can see if it's been turned in. So we understand, like, apparently there was a big power outage or some Wi-Fi outage in Natomas today. So we got the notice some kids might be absent. So we understand that, like, that you're dependent on Wi-Fi. You know, if you can't access it, that's really why we tried to make it very specific. So you know that these are the things that you could get to. Send us an email, send us a text. Like, you know, we're not monsters. We're just trying to do the very best we can and serve your children. And so, you know, just we're humans too. Like I said, I'm a mom and I'm a teacher, and I'm, you know, when I started distance learning, this was brown and now it's gray. So, you know, I just, like, we're all in this together. I'm living your same life. And some days I laugh and some days I cry. So we're all in this together. Let's see. Hi, Sanvi. Are cats okay on laps? I don't know. Are they? Can you learn and pet your cat at the same time? If the answer is yes, then have at it. Okay. Hi, Regan. Okay. Okay, how much time should kids spend on homework? I saw some hours were distributed in distance learning video by Miss Dart. Yes, so here's the way that our homework works is that the morning ELA video is linked to this homework packet. So there are two videos. There's an informational video about learning, and then I start the packet with them. It should not take any more than 10 minutes per page. And if you need specific, like if your child is, like, we always have the rule that, like, if your child is, like, in tears every day because it's too much, then you need to let us know, because that's not good for anybody. At the same time, we want them to be achieving. We want to hold them accountable. And so, you know, just do the best that you can. There is going to be a Zern every night, but that's because we use the flipped learning model, because it really gives them that background before. Let's see. Mikey will happily snack all day. Me too, Mikey. Okay. Okay. Does anyone else have questions that I can answer? I feel like I just threw a lot at you. The biggest takeaways that I have for you: use Google Classroom. That is where you can find everything. Schedules. Miss G and I have been busting our behinds trying to make sure that we have a phenomenal program for you. I also want to direct you to NP3 K5. I want to share my screen really quickly, and then if anyone wants to stay on and ask questions, you can do that. Nope, this is not it. Let's try this again. I want to show you really quickly NP3 K5. So this is where you can go if you're, like, completely lost and you have no idea what I just said, and you haven't bookmarked Google Classroom, which is a best practice. If you log on to NP3 Elementary and you go to Mateys, you can click on Technology Links. And we are green this year, so maybe hit up that green t-shirt. So you're going to click on that 3rd grade link. Yay, here we are. So here's our classroom. This is a perfect way to get to Google Classroom. So you can click on it from here. Here I am, here's Miss G, here's Mr. Jones. Lots of links for our staff members. If you click on the Google Classroom above me, this will bring us back to that Google Classroom. Yeah, so just where we were. And then if you click on this right here, oops, this will also bring you to my homepage, which has our Bitmoji Classroom. So it has all those same links. It's just another way to get there. So it has, again, our weekly schedule, our distance learning. This will bring you to Google Classroom, the Reflex link, the Read Theory link, the Zern link, the Raz Kids link, math tools, digital library. So it has everything. Google Classroom, that's where it's at. Okay. Yes, 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 yes. So lunch bunches, that is so, yes. So let me go back. Woo, questions coming. Will the login be the same every day? So Natasha, that's a great question. There are Zoom links in the Google Classroom. So maybe challenge yourself to get comfortable with Google Classroom today. Go on that right now, log on. I think everyone is logged on, and there were a couple people that weren't, so I logged them on. So there are 4 different links for Google Classroom. Have your student go into their mail and accept the calendar. I saw like Aiden did it, and a couple of other, I think Alessandra did it. If you accept those links, it'll automatically add to your child's calendar, and then they can just go in the calendar and click the link, and you don't even have to do anything. So we want to train them to not bother you during this time. We want them to really be self-sustaining. We want them to be able to log on by themselves, to get to the Zoom links, to turn in those buttons. We're going to really push that. One of the biggest things I feel like my strength is as a teacher is routines. And so we are going to turn it in, turn it in, turn it in, turn it in, turn it in until they know how to turn it in, because we really just want them to take ownership of their learning. Lunch bunches, yes, there will be lunch bunches. I don't know when yet. I just need the first 2 weeks to like figure stuff out, but I promise I will have lunch bunches. That's a great question. When are we getting our yearbook from 2nd grade? That's a good question. I don't have the answer to that, but I will follow up, Jeremy. All right. If there are no other questions, it's 5:37. I'm 7 minutes late, and I apologize. I just wanted to say thank you for joining us. 3rd grade friends, I will see you tomorrow morning at 9 a.m. I am so excited to see you. We're going to do some fun stuff. We're going to learn. We're going to have fun. And I can't wait till I can see you in person, because I love a hug. So I am so happy to have you in my class. I feel like I lucked out this year with all the superstars that I have. And I'm super excited. So if you don't have any other questions, I'll see you tomorrow morning at 9 a.m. Go ahead and log into that link. You can log in. I'll probably open it about 5 to 7 minutes early. And other than that, we're gonna rock it. We're gonna have the best 3rd grade year ever. So I hope that you guys get good sleep, get a good breakfast, and I will see you tomorrow. It's already Thursday. Best week ever. Right? Absolutely. Hi, guys. If you have questions, you're welcome to stay on. If you want to have that chat, we can do that. Just unmute yourself and feel free to ask. But otherwise, we'll see you tomorrow morning. Sleep well. Hi, guys. If you have questions, you can just unmute yourself and ask.
Okay, so if I'm on his classroom, how do you go to the calendar to accept? I'm in his Gmail.
So go to the Gmail, and it should be an invitation. There should be an invitation from me in his Gmail. And then if you accept those, there should be 4. If you accept that, it'll automatically sync to his calendar for the whole quarter.
Okay, I'll do one by one. Thank you.
And it should just be, there should be 4 links there. So it should be math instruction, morning meeting, ELA, and closing meeting.
Okay.
There's probably also a 9 million assignments, because we've been adding like crazy. So I apologize for that. You can also just search calendar if you want and do that.
I see them. They're pretty much together.
Perfect.
Okay.
Okay.
I can handle that.
And we, Amy, I will talk to you. I did hear from Mr. Green. Yeah. So you and I can talk offline.
Okay.
I have some thoughts. I have some thoughts. So yeah. Okay.
Okay, good.
Awesome.
Okay. So I won't see you tomorrow, but Emilio will.
You'll probably hear me, right? Bye, Emilio. I can't wait. It's going to be fun. We're going to have a good time.
He's excited.
I'm excited. I'm excited. And when it's time, I'm coming back to your house for a home visit. How about that?
Okay. Well, we have 3 horses, so we'll
I was just going to say, I know you guys have multiplied. You got all the animals, huh?
I only got like 3 horses, 4 goats, and a puppy during quarantine. If this goes on any longer.
Some people buy Amazon, you buy animals, huh? All right. Bye. Hi, Lily.
Thank you.
Hi, you're finally in my class. Finally, it's been 4 years, finally. You too, Emilio. I remember when you guys were in kinder. Now you're old. You're old ladies and old men. Bye, guys.
Bye. Thank you.
Bye. So we just there's a recording. So if you missed the first part, I'm gonna have the recording and you can watch it if you need to. Sound good? All right. Bye, friends. See you tomorrow. Enjoy. Sleep well. The queen is here tomorrow, huh, Lily? That's right. Bye, sweetie. Bye.